I say, yo, my name is the great Kyle G. This is so terrible, hip-hurry. That's my friend Chase Matherly. He's playing guitar so smoothly, and we are the ZymCast folk. Not at all at the same rhythm.
You're gonna stop.
I was glad that did terrible.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
You do need to turn me down now. And that was a terrible, terrible opening because we were having fun.
I mean, I just learned how to play those 3 chords.
Literally just learned how to do it.
Ago. I did not know how to play any chords
It
on
was
the guitar.
like 10 minutes ago, to be fair. But
10 minutes ago, yeah. I only know chords on the ukulele, so I kind of Googled and I'm like, oh, this works.
So he was learning things, and then I decided to drop a song not at all the same rhythm at all.
Nope.
It worked masterfully.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the ZymCast, because we didn't say that yet.
Yeah, we hadn't gotten there yet.
No? What's your name?
I already told them in the song, and your name.
Oh.
See how good I am at this?
Wow.
Hey, I'm Kyle Grubb.
And I'm Chase Matherly.
And that's Cheyenne. She's trying to allow Chase to put this guitar away in a quiet manner. He's not really paying much attention or being very helpful.
No.
Chase, just put the guitar in the case.
The case is on the floor, Kyle.
Chase, go over, grab the... Oh, my God. He's okay. Oh, and he hit the table. That didn't look fun. He's putting it away. That's what she said. Very happily. Hey, so, how's everybody doing? How you doing, Cheyenne?
I'm okay. Almost died this morning, though.
Yeah, I heard you were helping someone learn how to drive.
Yep.
That sounds very exciting.
Yep. He went over an island, and then...
Wow.
Yeah,
like in the Pacific?
No, like in a parking lot.
That's a low-hanging joke.
It was.
That's what I'm all about.
That's what I'm all about.
He almost hit a tree, and then he went forward, and then went over another island and almost hit another tree. It was great.
It sounds fun. And by fun, I mean terrifying.
Nope.
I mean, it was funny once we parked.
I bet.
Right? Tragedy plus time equals joke? Funny? Humor?
Yeah.
I mean, yes. That was phrased weirdly, but yes. Comedy is tragedy plus time.
Right, comedy. That's the word. Humor, joke, fun?
Humor, joke, funny stuffs. That's why 9/11 is the funniest goddamn thing I've ever heard.
Damn.
Right? It's how that works. It's simple math. The bigger the tragedy and the more the time, the funnier the jokes. To be fair, I was going to say that's why people love Holocaust jokes.
Oh, no.
You think then slavery jokes would be really funny, but not enough time. It keeps resetting at 0.
Because there's still slavery.
Oh, I shouldn't laugh at that.
No.
All right, so.
There's not enough time.
Yeah. So episode 15, I think, right?
Technically.
Well, I mean,
Probably
there's
like
multiple
18,
technicalities.
But
There's-
like 15 numbered.
But also
and
not,
put
because
out.
it's also 16 numbered because of the half episode that's being considered one of our actual main numbered ones.
Oh.
But, like, the title says 13.5.
I get it does, but then I go on to, like, Apple Podcasts, and, like, last week was, like, number 15. Number 14!
Might have to fix that.
I'm like, no.
We'll look
Also,
into
there
that.
was definitely a typo in the description of last week's description. Yeah.
Oh, awkward. I'm not good at spelling.
No, I know. I've had to go
Not
back
good
and
at spelling?
change titles because they were spelled wrong.
Let me look it up real quick.
It's okay.
See,
You
this
try.
is why I wanted you to do some of the things. When I ask you for help, you're like, I don't know.
That's helpful.
I mean,
And I'm
even
like, can you look over this? Oh.
you never asked
You
me about
even
that.
looked over the one the title that you changed. You looked over it the day I posted
I
it.
don't remember.
I mean, it's not like you messed up. It's not like you didn't know how to spell this word. It's just you wrote the wrong word.
When
So
I put
join Chase and Kyle as to talk about how Digimon is not dead and Wizards Unit.
Oh,
Oh, Unite?
No, just Wizards Unit.
Oh, gee, Unite.
Wizards Unit.
oops.
We're wizard cops.
That's not where I was going with that.
That's where
funny.
I went that. With
You
that.
went that?
That's where I went that. It's typo day here at the ZymCast.
So how was your day and week and whatever?
Okay, yesterday I slept a lot
Oh, yeah.
when I shouldn't have.
No.
I missed a party. I'm a smart human. It was fine though. I actually weirdly got chicken out of it.
That's true.
I went to apologize to the person whose party it was, and he's like, "Hey, here's some chicken." I'm like, "Cool, thanks." Never have I been rewarded for missing a party.
For sleeping through a
Sleeping
party
right through it. Just
at 7 p.m.
7 p.m. party. Slept from like 4:30 or something like that to like 10.
Yeah.
I'm a champion. Other than that, my week's been whatever. I've been just I moved back into my house and forgot some important things at my mom's place. So I got to pick those up after we're done recording here. Like I got to my mom's place not last night, the night before. And I was like, it's like 11:45 and I'm like, do I turn around? I'm like, no, I'll just go tomorrow. Yesterday. Nope, fireworks. It's almost 4th of July, folks. That means people are going to shoot fireworks everywhere, including in one of my auditoriums. So just moving on. But yeah, and I was like, no, I'll just do it the next day. And then, I was lazy and tired and I slept for half the day and I didn't get that done either. So I'm like, well, I'm in the damn area today. I don't have an excuse anymore. I also need to go to the grocery store. I have no water left in my place at all.
Ooh, at least it's not no toilet paper.
And no food. I definitely have a lot of toilet paper though. I know where my essentials are. What about you, Chase?
I've been kicking back doing nothing.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool?
Yeah. I mean, I did watch Toy Story 4 and I fucking bawled my eyes out.
It's okay.
Yeah. I haven't cried that hard for an animated movie since Toy Story 3.
I sense a pattern.
Yeah. I know.
They're all Pixar movies.
Yeah. No, nothing else ties them.
Nothing else ties them together, though.
Nope. No, Toy Story 4, like, maybe the best Toy Story movie.
That's what people were saying. Remember how skeptical we were when we talked about the trailer for this movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chase was like, I don't care about watching that. That looks stupid.
It's really good.
Yeah, I remember when I read the reviews and it was supposed to be incredible. I'm like, I'm mad.
No, that's another movie. That's also Pixar, though.
Ha 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 ha. When
Okay,
the reviews
Mandark.
were quite good. Ha ha ha.
Only some people will get that reference.
Only some people, and those are my people.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, there might be no people. We have like 6 listeners, maybe. Oh, we're dumb.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, Didi, you're so stupid.
See, the more references we give, at least they'll get closer. And even with trying to think of another semi-obscure reference from that show.
Omelette du fromage.
Omelette du fromage. Isn't that not even completely accurate in French?
No, it is.
Is it?
It just means omelet with cheese.
I get what it
Like a cheese
means.
omelet.
I think anybody could just ascertain that information. Man, whatever. Good times. Classic Cartoon Network shows.
Yes. It's on Boomerang now.
Oh no, that
Yeah, I
makes me
know.
feel super old.
You know what? Like Johnny Test is also on Boomerang, and that came like way after.
Wait, okay. I feel like Boomerang isn't what it used to be. Boomerang used to be like old ass cartoons.
Is it Barbera or Barbara?
Pretty sure it's Barbera.
Yeah, Hanna-Barbera.
It's not Hanna-Barbera.
That's why people have said that. I don't know.
Hanna-Barbera.
Hanna-Barbera cartoons. But I mean, yeah, because I have Verve, which is not a sponsor, but it is a great service.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, it's basically like from Crunchyroll. They made it, but it includes like all Crunchyroll's content.
This literally sounds like you're trying to do an ad.
I know, but I mean, I'm just saying for reference, it has that content, but also has like different channels, including Boomerang stuff now.
I follow the link posted in the description, and we might get 10% off.
I wish.
Nah,
It's already pretty cheap though. Oh,
yeah.
whoop. Plug.
Stop it. I'm like
It's just
joke
an ad.
plugging, and you're like really plugging this thing. Corporate chill.
Yeah,
I can't wait for you to finally be a corporate chill for something that actually makes us money one day.
something that I really don't like. I don't think I would ever do that to our
Chase.
listeners.
Chase. Are you trying to tell me if somebody offered us thousands of dollars to sponsor their product, you wouldn't take it? Look, I'm not saying I'm a sellout, but I'm only saying that's because I haven't had the chance yet. Send us any product and I will sell it to people as long as you pay me. I like money. Like, no lies here, folks. I will probably one day confess that it was bad, but not during the string of when we're
Paid
selling.
for
Yeah, when we're selling you the product. So just forewarning, any product we endorse here might be bad in the end. I just
Wait,
gotta.
but now you might be scaring off sponsors.
Well, look, here's the deal. If a sponsor, it's actually kind of like a catch-22 situation. If a sponsor cares enough about our show to actually watch like all these episodes and catch like this bit right here, then they're weirdly they care enough about our show to possibly want to sponsor it.
That's a good point.
So we're screwed either way. That's what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
Or we're fine either way because the sponsor doesn't care and they're just like, just here's money. You're an internet person. That's it. And they'll be like, deal. Like razor blade ice cream.
Razor blade ice cream. I thought you were going with like the razor blade.
No.
Like the computer.
No. It's a terrible product that you shouldn't give people. Razor blade ice
Hey,
cream.
Razor sponsor us.
Shit Quattro ice cream. It'll be delicious and it'll get all the hair out of your esophagus.
Oh God.
Okay. Fake sponsors aside. Hey, we should do that. We should make up fake sponsors too, like we made up fake movie reviews last week.
Oh yeah. But I mean, then we'd have to have like actual company names and just guess what they.
No, we have to come up with entirely fictional companies. But I was just thinking, like, when I was thinking of Boomerang, I think of like freaking like old ass shit, like the Herculoids or something like that.
I think like the Jetsons.
I mean that's a easy. I was trying to go for a deep cut here with the Herculoids.
I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Exactly. If you actually saw a picture of Herculoids,
I have Boomerang on my phone.
You might recognize them.
Oh,
Not most of the people listening to this, though. If you're like under the age of 1 million, you would probably have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Unless you were born in the year 1092 BCE.
1092. That's not 1 million years ago. Before Christ's era. That's what it stands for, right?
Before Christ.
The Herculoids.
Yeah, because CE is Christ's era, which is what we're in now.
Damn right. Before the common era. I doubt they're going to still have the Herculoids on this.
They have MGM cartoons.
Good for them. They probably
Looney
don't have the
Tunes.
fucking
They have Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh, I loved that show.
I know, and it's sad
On
that's on
Boomerang?
Boomerang. Yep, and
Yeah.
Camp Laszlo.
Oh.
That's these are too new, man.
Why are we sponsoring them?
My gym partner is a monkey.
I remember that. We're so dumb. This is like such a freaking weird tangent on this episode.
Wait, but for real, I want to rewatch Codename Kids Next Door.
That'll be our that's a secondary podcast. It's a spin-off podcast. We review each episode of Codename Kids Next Door each week.
Down. Codename K&D in review. No, they don't have Herculoids on Boomerang anymore.
I didn't think so. I would have been shocked.
At least not
if
on
they did.
demand.
The Herculoids. I'm not crazy, at least. This was even actually their name. It's the Herculoids.
Well, I mean, what about like oh, what the fuck? I don't know.
It was great.
I was gonna think of
Oh, this is a better picture.
oh. Still, what?
It's like Gleep and Glorp are the two like
What
things.
the fuck?
Oh man. Dude. This episode's sponsored by the Herculoids. I think it ran for one season 1,000 years ago.
I think
1967. There we go.
was Jason in the Argonauts show?
Maybe I don't know.
I know Josie and the Pussycats was
Yes,
is
that
on
was
Boomerang.
that was definitely a show.
Oh, I watched that on Boomerang.
All right, here we go. The plot lines. Okay, so here's The Herculoids is an American Saturday morning animated cartoon television series created and designed by Alex Toth, and was produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions. It aired for 18 episodes. That's it.
Ooh, you know it's good.
11 new episodes were produced like 20 years later.
2019.
No, in 1981 after 1969. It's part of the Space Star show. The plotlines are rooted in science fiction and have story direction and content similar to Johnny Quest and Space Ghost.
Fuck.
Oh, that was good stuff. Let's talk about the characters here. There are 8 regular characters that make up the Herculoids.
Oh my god. We're going into this.
So you have the humans. The 3 humans were the only ones that could communicate in English. So 3 of your 8 characters could talk and be understood. There was Xandor, the protector of
Xandor? That
Xandor.
planet was destroyed.
Xandor. You don't even listen to me. The protector of Amzot/Quasar and leader of the Herculoids.
Quasar.
Then there was Tara, Xandor's wife. That's her only description. It's not a good sign for her strong character. And then there's Dorno, son of Xandar and Tara.
Dorno?
Despite being their son, still refers to them by their first names rather than mother and father.
Oh, that's always a good relationship.
Oh, I was so close with Gloop and Glorp. It was Gloop and Gleep. All right, so here's the creatures. The 5 creature characters the Herculoids are
my
Zoc,
God.
a flying space
Zoc?
dragon. Zoc.
No, he's a flying space sock.
Zoc. He's a flying space dragon. He can emit laser beams from his eyes and
What
tail.
the fuck is this
His-
show? From his
his-
tail?
Yeah, and his eyes also produce a nega beam that can neutralize certain energy attacks. Zoc can travel in space unaided, is capable of interstellar travel, and can breathe fire.
Holy shit, dude.
Igu, a rock ape.
Aigu. Accent aigu.
An extremely large and powerful simian, he has extremely dense rock-like skin and is nearly invulnerable to harm. In one episode, Igu wades through a pond of molten lava. What the fuck? Igu has a kind and gentle temperament, as well as a great fondness and devotion for Tara, and would do anything for her. And then there's Tundro, a 10-legged, 4-horned rhinoceros / triceratops hybrid. He can shoot explosive energy rocks from his cannon horn.
What is this show?
Amazing. And then there was Gloop and Gleep, 2 protoplasmic creatures. They're able to absorb and deflect energy blasts and laser beams, often placing themselves between attackers and other Herculoids to act as shields. They can form shapes including, but not limited to, cushions, trampolines, and parachutes to break falls, stretching themselves between tree limbs or rocks to act as slingshots.
What is this conversation? Every time we say Tara, I think of Katara.
I don't even remember if that's how it was pronounced. I literally haven't seen the show since I was a baby. Okay, so that's, sponsored by Verve
What about Duck Dodgers?
in the 24th and a half century.
Is that when it takes place?
Duck Dodgers in the 24th and a half
Oh,
century.
yeah. When you say that, I think of Phil of the Future.
Mm.
He's a 22nd century man.
Okay, we got to get on topic here. We have an actual topic today, but we're just rambling about stupid ass shit as opposed to rambling about stupid ass shit that we mean to ramble about. So, Chase, what are we talking about today?
I think that it would be interesting if we talked about RPGs.
Rocket propelled grenades.
Of course.
I don't know how we can fill a whole episode of this, but I'll get out my textbooks.
Yes.
Rocket propelled grenades were created in the 1400s.
Wow.
All right. Role-playing games.
Yeah, in different forms. It's funny because our podcast is actually tagged with role-playing games we've never talked about.
It. We meant to. It only took us like 15 episodes.
Yeah.
/18 episodes. /16 episodes.
Yeah, but
I've mentioned it.
It's
It's come up in passing that my players are dumb people, and I love them. Other than that.
Are they dumb or just like...
No, they're actually
really
brilliant,
smart?
and I hate them.
Yeah, exactly.
that's the thing. Role-playing games foster creativity in a lot of different ways.
I mean, role-playing in general does that.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
God damn it.
How did you really think we were going to have a whole role-playing game episode without some sort of role-playing joke?
No.
Okay.
Yes. No, I did.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't think of it. So
Now
therefore, yes.
now I'm confused. Is it yes or is it no? Should I stay or should I go now? Why are you laughing at these jokes?
What's your favorite genre of anything?
Of anything? That's really open-ended.
Pink.
A genre of color.
Yep. Hey, no. I don't even know where to start there. Fantasy.
Exactly.
Is that what you were hoping for the answer for? I'm happy to help you. I do love fantasy.
Exactly. I was kind of segue into fantasy from your science fiction. I don't know how. We got here nonetheless.
You know how you go to the bookstore and all those damn fantasy books are in the science fiction section? I'm like, I call bullshit. That's how you could have done it.
Yeah. Well, fantasy seems to be really the biggest genre of role-playing games from what
Okay.
I'm
I thought you were going to say of fiction. I'm like, no. Not even close.
What is then? I don't know.
Fiction. Just basic fiction. Like young adult fiction these days, it seems like.
Oh, God.
Crime books. I don't know. Like what's that one series by that one author that does that one thing?
Twilight.
Nailed it. Yeah, Batman.
So irrelevant, man.
Batman.
There was a through line from that thought to my thought.
Hey,
You say
wait.
Twilight, I say Batman, Twilight, Batman,
Oh,
Twilight,
yeah.
Batman.
It's Edward Cullen.
I was wrong. That Twilight is relevant.
Wait, what's his name?
Wait, what?
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson, yeah, the new
Arpat.
Batman.
Arpat. Yeah, so I forgot what I was saying. Oh my God, what's the name of that author? And like every one of his books has a number in the title, and we're at like 42 now or something like that.
James Patterson.
Thank you. Yes, James Patterson.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
at the bookstore like a couple weeks ago, and I swear to God, they're in like the 30s or the 40s now. And I'm like, Jesus, man.
Well, I mean, he also has
What
Ghostwriters,
series?
right?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. I've never read a single
Oh
one
yeah,
of his books.
like every one of his
publishes-
Oh, well, of course.
books
Yeah,
has a ghostwriter.
yeah.
Does he write anything? I'm sorry.
I'm sure he does. The only prolific writer that I think legitimately writes all of his books is Stephen King.
Oh yeah, because he
Because
has
he's
a
too
whole
goddamn crazy.
too hopped up on cocaine
He doesn't do that anymore, man.
anymore.
I mean, yes, anymore. It's a confirmed fact that he wrote many books on cocaine.
Exactly.
It is a prime example.
What's the one that's coming out soon? The movie
Dr. Sleep.
Doctor Sleep, sequel to The Shining.
Yep.
I didn't even know that existed.
Oh yeah, that's been a book for like 8 years.
Oh really? Is
Yeah.
that recent? I thought it was.
No, it's pretty new.
okay. That makes me feel less bad.
Why did you feel bad about that? Who cares? It's a fucking book. Were you ever gonna read it?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, did you even read the first one?
The
You ever read The
Yeah,
Shining?
The Shining.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
have you seen The Shining?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then
he
why
likes
does it
that one.
matter that there would be anything other than a movie sequel to The Shining?
Yeah.
Well, when something's made like based off of a book,
I'm
and
trying to
they
give
go
you an
their own-
out.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a legitimate question.
No.
My bad.
No. Of course things matter other than your interests. All right. We've gone completely off the fucking topic again. RPGs.
Yeah, we're on fantasy,
Yeah, I know.
and I was like, okay, because when talking about fantasy, it's like we have our own idea of fantasy and like what fantasy is, but it's like I was thinking like what definitionally is fantasy?
Fake stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Isn't science fiction technically fantasy? The thing is,
Or is
fantasy.
it the other way around? Because fantasy ends up in the science fiction
Yeah.
section, not the other fucking way around.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's fictional.
It's not scientific.
Well, that's the thing. Like the science is different in the world.
The science of magic.
The science of magic, exactly. But yeah, fantasy is like from Wikipedia. It says speculative fiction set in a fictional universe, which is fiction.
I mean, no,
Often inspired by real world myth and folklore.
I
This is like that's the important part. I feel.
Yes, I would argue that the fucking like set in a fictional world thing is it means not Earth.
Or like,
Even though
not
I've
of
definitely
this
read fantasy
time.
books I've definitely read fantasy books set on Earth. Just saying.
yeah, I thought you were gonna mention which ones they were, but no.
No, because literally some of those would be spoilers.
Yeah.
Like for instance, the Shannara Chronicles.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
did you spoil it for Cheyenne?
To be fair, the
I
funny
never got to that.
I read like all those books, not all of them, but I read quite a few of those books, and like it's revealed multiple books in that it's like it all takes place on like a post-apocalyptic Earth.
Wait, I
basically.
feel like that's something else that I know of too. Not the Shannara Chronicles.
Isn't it
but-
a show?
Well, yeah,
yes.
it is.
No, but I mean that's what I was going to get to. So that was like kind of a secret that like you were given all the pieces to put that together if you were paying really close attention, but it's kind of like spelled out later in the series.
That sounds super familiar from something
The
else.
TV show couldn't really hide the fact that they're like wandering through the ruins of Seattle.
Oh, wait, you have told me this too. I didn't know that was what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like there's something else that I saw that was similar.
There
But-
are a couple other things.
Apparently, fantasy is distinguished from science fiction and horror by the absence of scientific or macabre themes, respectively. So, like,
To
they
be
got a
fair,
scientific.
I have definitely seen some dark ass fantasy.
Well, yeah,
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah, and yeah, I feel like most role playing.
Quite a few
Things, yeah.
role playing games, but honestly, there are a lot of like tabletop role playing systems that are not fantasy based.
Like the Star Wars one that we were talking about the other day,
Yeah,
because I want to be a
Or
fucking
like
space
Cyberpunk.
cowboy.
Cyberpunk 2020.
Yeah, I forgot that was a thing.
Everybody seems to fucking forget that's a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, based off a tabletop game, folks.
and hey, guess what? Next year's 2020.
Yeah, and we get 2077 in the year 2020 for Cyberpunk.
Whoa.
Whoa.
You think that's planned, man?
I think it's not a coincidence. Or it might be a coincidence.
Yeah. But
hard to say.
When you think of role playing games, tabletop or video or otherwise,
You got to go on the journey. All right, so there once was a man named Gary Gygax.
Gary Gygax.
He and his friends used to play war games around the table. And one day, he's like, you know what these war games are missing? Loot.
And shooting? Is it Borderlands?
No, they had plenty of shooting in their war games. I don't know all the details of the story, but like Gary Gygax was basically like, hey, let's just create our own game. And instead of like big cosmic battles and stuff and like play like huge battles, let's like take it down and we each play individual characters and we go on adventures and stuff like that. And he basically just created D&D.
Yep, Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. It's D&D, fighting with the legends of yore. It's D&D. Never kissed a lady before. Nope. Somebody will get that reference.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I got it because you showed it to me once.
yeah, I know.
That's the only reason.
Or somebody will just Google those lines.
Yeah. What is this from?
Hey, give them some extra views. So, from there, people just found out about it. I don't even know how. I think he published it somewhere in like a magazine or something. And people were like, oh, this looks like fun. And then Gary just kept working on stuff, DMing. It's weird thinking he kind of created the term. But like he basically would just run adventures for his friends, and he would they would build characters.
What is DMing for people who don't know?
Just dungeon mastering. It's basically you're the dude who plays all the other dudes. It's
all
essentially
the non-player dudes.
Yes. So essentially, the way most tabletop games work is that there is essentially a moderator who
plays God.
Who basically plays God. Like you play everyone that isn't played by the players. You play everybody that they would ever come across. You also kind of design the story, come up with the scenarios, build where they're going, present
or at least
the challenges.
Facilitate it if you don't think of it yourself.
Something. And then the players are basically they create characters and they're inserted into these adventures and they just have to solve them. Essentially, it's like writing a book, except you have literally no idea what the fuck the main characters are going to do at any given time.
Yeah, and that's amazing part of it.
Yes, it is.
All three of us here have been dungeon masters.
Yes, indeed. That's becoming more and more common these days, to be fair.
It's funny that we haven't talked about this sooner because this is the one topic that we all really have in common.
I know. But yeah, Dungeons and Dragons is easily the most popular tabletop game, especially these days. It has had a huge resurgence since the 5th edition came out. But it's getting bigger than ever thanks to shows like Critical Role, which we've talked about before.
Yeah, we have.
The Adventure Zone. There's a bunch of popular.
Yeah, Adventure Time is also heavily D&D inspired. Yeah. Which is really funny.
I'd like to insert Big Bang Theory and Stranger Things.
Oh yeah.
They definitely had things to do with it, no doubt.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about D&D was Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
I found out about D&D because I'm a nerd. I knew about it for years before I played it.
Same.
Actually,
when you invited me, both of us to play at your table.
Yep.
And that was my first. Yeah, that was both our first introduction to D&D or playing D&D was with you as our dungeon master, and that was a great time. Ooh, so we did some stuff in that game. Some horrible stuff.
I have no regrets.
Well, you were both drow, which is dark elves. Not to be racist, but they are kind of evil.
That's why I picked that character.
I know
that race, yeah.
Oh yeah,
and that character.
And that character.
Yeah, I mean, I made my character that way too.
Yeah, we. Long story short, one of the things that our whole party did, inadvertently, was
inadvertently. I mean, it's true.
Yeah, I mean, there was a room, a big hall.
Okay, so no, they're in a dungeon.
Yeah,
full of goblins and kobolds,
and they're bad. We kill them.
Yeah. Yep. Goblins were gnarly, nasty beasties. And there was a room.
Do you want to explain this?
I think it's better if you do. I just cringed the entire time trying not to show it on my face.
Yeah. So there was this room, and we would peer through the door and see no, we wouldn't even we would peer through. We would just listen through the door.
Yeah, if you peered through, this never would have happened.
Yeah, and we heard a bunch of goblins on the other side, or what we thought were goblins.
No, they were goblins.
Yeah, I mean we didn't.
That's true.
No, we just assumed it was a lot of foot traffic and talking and in this language we don't speak. And so it was a door, and we surrounded the room. There was 3 doors.
Yep, there were 3 doors into this room. It was a huge chamber.
Yeah, and we coordinated this assault. We had Molotov cocktails We lit the Molotovs, and on 3, we opened the door and threw them in. And then we heard the screams of women and children.
Yeah, so that was the room in the dungeon where all the women and children goblin lived. And it was, and many of them burned alive. And it was horrible.
Many or all? Of them?
It was all.
Yeah.
They literally killed literally all of them. I built like these Molotov cocktails,
Goblin
like with the way
genocide.
they did it. They were women and children goblins. They had like 1 HP each. And so like any lick of fire hitting them basically dropped them to 0 and killed them. And they coordinated it to where they'd hit the entire room with the radius of these explosives. And yeah, it was bad. And some of them felt guilty about it for a little bit and then basically just turned like full evil.
Oh, yeah.
Like, well, it's time to do crime now.
Yeah. Yeah, it changed some people.
It wasn't even the drow.
Nope. You were already like, oh, well, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
That was basically your guys' character. You're like, I mean, I kind of regret it. It wasn't intentional, but whatever. And then there was like the
Wasted a
good.
cocktail.
Then there was like the good ranger who's like, what have I done? What have I become? You know what? Fuck it. I guess I'm a bad person. Time to just dive into
Crime
this.
syndicate.
Yep. Time to create a crime syndicate. Ah, good times.
Yeah, and that's
Still waiting for that too.
Hey, not my fault.
yeah, and that's the thing. Great times can be had in role-playing games because, for the most part, a lot of role-playing games are pretty open-ended. And you're literally playing a role. Create a character, level them up, give them certain skills and abilities, and make them your own.
Yeah, based on the rules of the game.
Yeah, whichever game it may be, and you play that character.
But yeah, so I mean, tabletop games became huge, and
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
the thing was like, it was largely inspired by the works of like J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yeah.
Tolkien.
I mean that's
Yeah,
what the
Lord of
fantasy
the-
part of this comes
Lord
in.
of the Rings, and the races therein, including
You got elves,
hobbits.
you got dwarves, you got not hobbits,
not
halflings.
hobbits. Yeah.
Don't want to
Copyright.
don't want to get sued.
Yeah. So yeah, in Dungeons and Dragons, the equivalent of a hobbit is a halfling for legal reasons.
Basically, but
Legally
they're,
distinct.
they're basically the exact same damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but from this, a lot of people were inspired. This is like the age of technology starting to come up, video games starting
Like
to be
the
created,
80s.
something like that.
In
Somewhere around there, somewhere in that
around
window. And so really on both sides of the Pacific, people looked towards really Dungeons and Dragons as inspiration for creating their own kinds of video games using
Yeah.
the same style. And we still kind of live with those designations today because they took them in two very different directions. So
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yes,
I thought you said both sides of the Atlantic.
I said Pacific.
Yeah. I was thinking like England and America. No. Okay. I see what you mean.
No.
I see what you mean.
So you very much have the Western style of role-playing games. And I know I said like the Pacific, but like I'm also including like European-based games and stuff like that in this. But you have Western style role-playing games, which are very much like Skyrim
Yeah,
for
like that
like a touchstone,
That kind of fantasy, like medieval.
Witcher kind of
Yeah,
thing
oh,
a little
Witcher's
bit too. Where it's like the whole thing is like you're in a huge open world and you kind of like go around and do what you want and make choices and decide like what kind of character you are. You build the kind of character you are sometimes. Like it's more open ended. There's usually still a story, but God knows how many people actually finish it. And then like polar opposite, you have like the Japanese role playing games, the Eastern style role playing games, which are very much like playing through books, essentially, like playing through movies, where it's like this is a story, you are going through it, you have your set characters, like, and you were along for the ride, experiencing this tale.
Yeah, the customization comes in with like the gear you wear or like the different types of items.
It
and-
varies depending on the game, but
stuff.
rarely you will have the same customization as you would in like a Western style role playing game.
Yeah, more so like damage or like health wise, like specs like that.
Yeah.
Less so than like visual customization or stuff like that.
Yeah, so like the classic, like the well-known versions of like this would be like the Final Fantasy games, Persona, stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's like the thing about Kingdom
Even
Hearts.
Pokemon.
The thing about Kingdom Hearts is that I never understood it was an RPG, and I
Even
never
though you leveled up and
yeah
gained stats.
no, but I
and
never
gained skills.
played it like an RPG, which fucked me over and why it was so hard for me until I like played it again and I was like, oh wait, I can level up like this and like have a specific focus and all that shit. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. RPGs are my favorite genre of video games.
Yeah, same.
I've been playing RPGs since literally like I went over to my cousin
Yeah.
Chris's house and he had his original Nintendo and I played the original Final
Yeah,
Fantasy.
I feel like you're more into those Eastern RPGs,
Yes, I am.
and I'm more into Western RPGs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I love a good story. You love a
Yeah.
good world to explore.
yeah,
But I mean, I love both. It's just like, yeah, I'm the kind of person who's like, hey, I like Skyrim and I'll play it for like 50 hours, which I know sounds like a lot, but like for Skyrim is like nothing. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm good now. I'll never play it again. The fact that I finished Witcher 3 was like a freaking monumental
I didn't.
task.
I have
I mean,
not.
that game, I think my like in-game clock was like 160 hours when I finished that game. I never played any of the DLC. I got to get back to it at some point. That's what I've been saying for years. I'll just play Cyberpunk.
Same thing, right?
Totally. But I've been playing Japanese role-playing games like my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very much shape the kind of fiction I enjoy. They very much shape the kind of stories I like. And they very much are why it's so hard for me to just completely take the reins off my players when running a tabletop game. Because I'm like, I have a story.
Yeah.
Why are you fucking with it, you stupid assholes? Which people are just like, Kyle, if you want to tell a story that bad and don't want the characters to do whatever they want, write a book. I'm like, but that's hard. But yeah, no, I mean, I played some obscure ass shit that people just like have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yep, that's most of what you say to me, and I'm
Damn
like, yep.
right. So I mean, yeah, I've basically played every Final Fantasy game ever made. I'm actually fairly confident that is a true statement.
Jesus.
He is not. I'm more awesome than Jesus. No. When it comes to Japanese role playing games.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Final Fantasy. We got like the Dragon Quest games. I think I've played every one of those too. There's like the Shin Megami Tensei games.
Yep. Those are games.
Persona is the most common cultural touchstone here in the West.
Right.
Those are a spin-off of those.
I have Persona 5, so there's that.
I'm so proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you beaten it?
I've gotten to the art guy.
The second palace.
Yep.
Are you even in the palace yet?
Yeah.
Okay,
I
cool.
think so. Last I remember. That was like a year and a half ago.
I hate you.
Oh my gosh. I remember when you like dragged me out to the mall so you could go buy that from GameStop and you barely played it.
Yeah.
The game's been out for...
Well, I mean, okay, that's
The game came out in 2016.
That's still
I think.
A lot of like some time dedication that I put into it. It's just not enough.
It's like 20 hours
Yeah. So
to
it's
get
not
to like the second dungeon in that game.
yeah, it's not like I barely played it. But I mean, in
That game's 100 hours long.
yeah, in comparison, yeah.
Yeah, so you've barely
Barely played it. You got
Nah.
a fifth of the way into
my,
a game.
My statement holds true.
Not the way you intended it.
No, it does.
Whatever. But then I get to like some of my favorite video games of all time, like Suikoden 2. And people are just like, what the fuck is that,
what
Kyle?
did you say?
A damn good game.
Gesundheit.
Thank you. Suikoden 2. Let me pitch you this game. You play as a young boy who's forced to like wage war against his former best friend based on an ideological difference. You build a castle, you develop an army, you recruit up to 108 different characters to like fashion out and like get shape, and like you have like your 6-man like regular battles. You have war battles where you like build people into units and do it like a Fire Emblem style fight. You got 1-on-1 duels. Yeah, it's so fucking cool. That game's awesome.
Sounds complicated.
It's actually not. It's super simple.
Okay. If you say so.
But yeah, you go around the world, you recruit all these different people, you have them join your castle, and like some people just like wander around, some people will fight alongside you, some people will allow you to do like Iron Chef mini games against other traveling chefs. I fucking love that game, man. It's so good. That was the game that taught me that stories could be more than just like basic ass shit.
Yeah, I can see that.
That's a PlayStation 1 game. And the first Suikoden game is pretty good. It's very short though, especially for an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 15 hours long. You can beat that game. It's very clear that this was the game that they kind of wanted to build from the beginning and they just didn't have the money for it. So the first game was like almost like a demo and a trailer for like this like 60-hour long. Well, it's like 40-hour long.
Yeah.
Just like big epic.
See, on the other hand, my like first realization that stories in games can be more than just like linear like plot points,
Mhm.
which I mean mostly still are in some RPGs, but like you get to them at different ways. because like when I was in, I feel like middle school, yeah, I guess it was middle school and elementary school, I'd play like COD. So like Call of Duty single player, and that's like linear as fuck. That's just mission after mission, games like that. And then it wasn't until November 11th, 2011. 11/11/11.
Okay, cool.
When Skyrim came out. That was the first real RPG that I had played. Because I didn't play like Oblivion, which was a big one.
Horse Armor DLC.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hell was that?
That was my watch hitting my headphones.
Clock.
Yeah, it was a clock.
I know.
Yeah, so like that game was the first time that I had more free reign over my story and like seeing how I could, like, it was my story to tell, even though it's still like this like main storyline, main story quest in most games are still like linear. It like I could totally not pay attention to that and do side quests and do whatever I wanted to build the character that I wanted to. And that really like took me like by surprise in terms of like storytelling. And that's really what pushed me into RPGs more. I feel like it's the same for a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Skyrim was is still such a huge
It's on
game.
everything you'd ever want.
Yeah. It's not in Teslas yet.
It's not in Teslas
Yeah.
yet, but it is on some smart.
Elon Musk said it wasn't it wouldn't be able to handle it.
Alexa, play Skyrim.
Oh, wait, it's playing Skyrim something.
Yes, I know. You can play Skyrim, very special edition.
What? Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I
that was a
forgot.
real thing that they actually made.
Alexa, stop.
Just wanted to prove a point here.
Yeah.
The game's on everything.
I thought that was a joke.
No, I mean, it's funny, but
Yeah.
that's a real game you can play with Alexa. It's like a fucking, sorry.
No, she didn't hear that.
Okay, cool. It's more like a choose your own adventure sort of story that you really play through.
But see, okay, actually no, because choose your own adventure stories were really big as well. Well, not really big, but they were a thing. And when I was in like elementary school, my mom had a choose your own adventure book that I don't know if she gave to me or because she's a type of teacher, I guess. So she, when with her kids, she would.
That's super vague and weird.
Yeah,
I don't know the answer to that.
but I had this choose your own adventure book from her that I was like really into, and then
What was it about?
I don't even remember, honestly.
You weren't that into it?
I mean, I was way younger. I don't remember. Like,
Wasn't that into it?
I remember kind of the way it looked.
No, it's all about looks to you, huh?
Yeah, but
You
that
don't
was
care
before,
what's inside.
I think
That
that was
really
before
matters.
I really played video. No, never mind. That was where I started playing video games when I was like 3.
This story is holding. I don't know if this book exists.
I have no
folks.
credibility.
Not at all. No one can trust you.
Keep backtracking.
A man so vague just can't be trusted.
Yeah.
What were you getting at?
Just the choose your own adventure aspect of, well, the books, and then that leading into like my
Mass
first foray, not Mass Effect.
Mass
First
Effect.
foray into role playing games, which was Skyrim.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's kind of like where I had gotten that same feel from,
Mhm.
and I was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
So, an interesting, like I mentioned Mass Effect, I was actually going to be getting to this in a second.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have the two different styles of games, like the quote unquote like Western role playing games that are big and open, the Japanese role playing games that are very like linear and focused.
Mm-hmm.
There's a company that kind of like walks a weird line in the middle of those, or at least they used to.
BioWare.
BioWare. BioWare RPGs are very much their own thing.
Yeah,
If you think about it, because
I never played one, but I know of them and
mean,
how
you
they
have-
play, kind of.
You have the Knights of the Old Republic games, but also you have like Mass Effect's a great example, honestly. Most people know what Mass Effect is, at least generally. It's like a sci-fi trilogy of games. I'm not counting Andromeda in this.
Unfinished game.
It's basically like the original Mass Effect trilogy is like a series of games where you play as a character, Commander Shepard, who is like a defined character, but you still have customization over like their background and what they look like and their gender and how they fight and stuff like that. But they're like a defined character in the world, but you have a lot of control over them, and namely over the choices and the kind of person that they are. And so it's like this weird, interesting combination of the two ideas, because you have a set character and a set story that you are going through, but you very much shape who you are in the like amongst that journey. Whereas like if you play like say like a Final Fantasy game or whatever, like freaking Cloud isn't just gonna be like a completely different character for me versus you.
Yeah.
But like if I played Mass Effect and you played Mass Effect, like we could have two completely different Commander Shepards and two completely different journeys. Can't have two completely different endings, but you can have two completely different journeys.
That's the thing I like about these open-ended RPGs that you can like craft the story from when they have multiple endings. That is like,
Oh man. See, now I agree with you that having a big open-ended game that has multiple endings and stuff, that's awesome. Unless you're trying to platinum that game.
then you have to go through all of them.
My best friend Matt and I right now we're actually playing through Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yeah, so are Shine and I.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god. We should all play together.
Oh shit. Oh, we can.
I know. No, how far are you guys?
Not very far.
Neither are we.
We've only played like twice.
Oh, okay. We're still in Fort Joy. Well,
Yeah, so are we.
we've escaped the fort, but we're still on the island.
We're like we're almost escaping the fort.
But yeah, he and I have been playing like the last couple of weeks. We kind of like off and on played, but now like because he lives in Utah,
Yeah.
so he and I have been playing like the last couple of Mondays. I also have this Monday off. I don't know if we're playing again. I need to text him. But that game's super cool because it's probably the closest like I've ever felt to playing a tabletop game while playing a video game.
Yeah. And that's also why I got it, because that's what people had always like or have been saying about it. And the versatility of a tabletop game is like endless.
Yes, like literally anything can happen.
Yeah, that's why I really got into Dungeons and Dragons and tabletop games as like a type of game. Is just because with video games, like they're programmed a certain way, and they can have a certain amount of endings, but there's still a limit, really.
Yeah, like you will eventually hit a wall where there's something you cannot
Yeah.
do, even if you want to do it.
Yeah. But with tabletop games, like as long as your DM says,
As long as
it
you have a good
works,
DM.
yeah, as long as it works in the like in the mechanics of the game, even if it like fucks with the story some part,
Or badly.
yeah,
I know entire campaigns that have been completely derailed by character actions.
yeah. But that's like the best. One of the best parts is like you
Especially
can,
as a player.
yeah, as a player, not as a DM. That fucking sucks. As a
You're
DM.
like, oh no, what have
But
they done?
As a player, when you can take it off the rails and just run with it however you want, and as long as you're having fun with it,
As long as everybody's having
Yeah.
fun with it.
yeah, it's true. That is like the most fun, where you can make it your own as a party, like as a group.
It's mine. And also your guys' is, I guess, whatever. Don't be that guy.
Yeah. And that's like, there's literally a limitless possibility of things you can do at any given moment in the story.
Yeah, like most games, you come across a problem, like there's only so many ways to handle it. If it's a good game, you'll have more than one way to handle it. But there are literally only so many things you can do.
As an example of some random shit that my players did when I was DMing, they were up a river, and they one of the characters threw a paddle.
We were talking about video games and
I
then
know. We got back into that, and one of the characters threw a paddle, and they didn't have a paddle. One
Just
had
trying
like
to
a
remember this.
woodworking skill, or like they can craft like with wood. So like they got a tree branch, and like he whittled it down into the shape of a dick. And then one of the other characters grabbed it and dick slapped him. Yeah, totally fucking random and totally fucking weird, but it was amazing.
And then it became a thing
Yeah,
with that character. Everything he made afterwards,
was in the shape of a dick.
yeah, or at least had that. Like,
Phallic nature.
yeah,
I don't know what to say. I don't play with those kinds of people, to be fair. We'll occasionally have little jokes.
Yeah, that's
Not
the
like
thing.
that. I mean,
Like it can go however the fuck you want it to go.
here's an example. So,
That's terrible.
in a campaign my buddy Sam was running, we were on an island in the middle of this competition that was like a bunch of different competitions.
Right.
But like one of the things was like a hunting challenge. We had a party of 5 people. Only 2 of us really seemed to give a shit and went hunting. You were supposed to find like little white rabbits that had been like let loose into the forest. If you like got them and stuff, you like got points. I think there was only one white rabbit, to be fair. But the fact is, like, we went off to hunt for this thing. We eventually found it, like the 2 of us. And then we got attacked by a fucking bear. but my friend Matt, my best friend, he just sat down. He grabbed one of the non-white bunnies that was let loose, and he just kind of started petting it. He was like, I like this bunny. And he's just like, there's people literally like in the middle of this competition we're trying to win. And he's just sitting in a field petting a bunny. And so the other two were like, why not? So they sit down with him. They have a conversation. We kept that bunny. We named it Steve Harrington. And it was still with us until we were done playing that. We were sailing around on a boat. Matt's biggest concern when we were trying to get supplies was to make sure that Steve Harrington had enough food to eat for the entire trip.
See, 2 different games, 2 totally different parties.
Both involve boats.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you can just like have like super epic things that pay off in ways that you could never expect. Like my couple, oh god, when did I end Curse of Strahd?
A couple months ago.
It was more than that. I think it was like February. But like earlier this year, like my friend Andrew had been DMing a campaign for quite some time. 5 total players at some point, but like one of the players dropped out and was essentially replaced. Mm-hmm. So there's always like a party of 4. But we literally took that campaign from level 3 to level 15.
Oof.
And in Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, level 20 is the max level. I don't think most people go above 10. Like, because just for whatever reason, campaigns aren't easy to run because you need a whole group of people that are consistently able to play and willing to play for a very long period of time. That is honestly not super easy to find. An entire group of people that are all at the same level of buy-in, or at least close enough, and are like willing to go along for this journey without derailing it or getting bored or whatever. But we went on this whole adventure, and like we could have like huge character arcs that like we decide and the game shaped and stuff like that. Like it was just awesome and a lot of fun. And like I took a character from like an alcoholic who believed that he was basically just like on a death wish, just like running around trying to get himself killed because he believed himself to be a terrible person because of a terrible thing he'd done in his past, to a fucking badass blessed by a god who basically like just grabbed a vampire lord by the chest and was like, no, you're fighting me right now, and repeatedly punched him in the face until I won. To be fair, with the help of other people. But his whole thing was to be running around, and I just grappled him. I'm like, no. It was just, it's the kind of journey that you can only go on in a game like this.
And that's the thing about role-playing games as well, is you can create a character to be however you want and play them however you want. And character creation, I know, is Cheyenne's favorite part of anything.
I literally can go on my D&D Beyond app and I can pull up 31 characters I built.
Building a character is really fun. In like customizing different race, different like background, like backstory that you want to give this character, especially if you're of the more creative type and you like to create like stories and backstories, then it's really
back stories.
Back stories.
What about front stories? People don't have front stories these days.
No, but that's a really fun aspect of it. Creating this character, playing them through, having them like grow as a character and develop, just like in a regular story in a book or a movie or something. But you have the control over that character.
Or if it's like one of your friends, like you're a supporting character on that journey.
Yeah. And that's
fun.
Yeah, it's fun to have an adventure with other people, even with yourself, and like have this story that you're helping to unravel. Yeah.
When D&D was first created, it really it's become something different than what it was before. Older editions of D&D were basically about the grind and the fighting and the stuff like that. It was very popular because it's like, I want more gold. Like original D&D, you gained experience based on how many pieces of gold you got. That was literally your experience point. You leveled up based on how much money you got from the dungeon. That was why you played the game.
Yeah.
You played the game to get new shit that was really cool and made you stronger so you could fight harder things, so you could get more shit, so you could fight harder things. That's like Monster Hunter. But nowadays, D&D, especially with 5th edition, it's basically become a communal storytelling experience.
And you have that more of like that political intrigue that some people like, and like more of that those NPC interactions than like people still like combat.
Combat's
but
fun.
It's really about that story and how you get there and and the people you talk to.
And the combat facilitates that.
Yeah.
And provides challenges and such.
Your combat's not the story. Your combat facilitates the story.
Exactly. It's just it's a very different place than it used to be, but I mean that's very much what people latched onto. It's the ability to gather a group of friends or strangers sometimes.
Yeah.
and just all of you pitch in on telling a story.
Mhm.
And that can be really cool if you're the right kind of player in the right kind of mindset. Like if you're going into a tabletop game being like, yo, this is all about me. I'm the main character. And everybody else is just here to facilitate my fun. Don't go.
Yeah.
Just stay home. Play a video game. That's what they're for. In that, you are the hero. Like, it is all about you.
Yeah. It's like more of a communal shared experience.
Yeah.
A shared story that you are all helping to tell.
Just like you could have learned from our episode last week, the key to telling stories and improving is yes and. No matter what the other person says, you just agree with it and add on to it there.
Yeah. One of the things going off this same
Role-playing game thing.
one of the things that I was introduced to a while ago, but I just started getting more like researching more and getting more into recently this past few days.
Nerd.
Yeah, is a different style of RPG, which is an LARPG or an LARP or
He's LARPing.
live action roleplay.
He's LARPing.
Well,
He's wanting to be LARPing.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
I'm going to chuck a beanbag at you and say I cast a firebolt spell.
and see, that's the thing. A lot of different types of games in any medium kind of has stigma. They have stigmas. Like D&D has its own stigma, and LARP does as well.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
To be fair. No, like, honestly, I would love to be a part of a LARP. But you look at people LARPing, and I'm sorry, no matter what, your first reaction is, oh, nerds.
That was always the reaction whenever I had told anyone about D&D as well.
Oh, I get it. But here's the difference. Like, I feel like if you sit somebody down at a D&D table, their first thought is like, oh, this is kind of silly. But, like, you'd very quickly get into the story. Your first thought when you go LARPing is you're going to see a group of people dressed like silly people.
Yeah.
Usually when you go D&D, people are dressed in the normal clothes. They got like Doritos and it's like, we're having fun here. Like, let's just chill and hang out for a day. And then you go LARPing and you got people in chainmail and elf ears attached to themselves.
Yep.
And they like are throwing little bags at each other saying it's magic. And like, you're just like, what the fuck have I walked into? And to be fair, it does look like a shitload of fun.
Yeah. And a lot of the thing that I've also noticed about people's representations of LARPing is just that and the combat aspect of it. And obviously, for safety reasons, you're not fucking throwing fire at people. And also, like,
Are you sure?
like,
I'd
logistic
wish.
reasons. And you're not, like, hitting them with real swords and mostly foam or what the fuck ever. But, I mean, just like how, like, D&D started as mostly that, like, facilitating combat specifically, there are, like, it's grown into that more of, like, the social aspect of telling the story. I feel like from what I've seen, because doing more research into LARP, that's kind of also a big part of it, and most of the part of it actually now.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
most live action role playing events are just like you having a character and like being a part of this adventure or not, like and one of the things that I've gone to since I was like, I don't even know, probably like 15
A wee
years.
lad.
No, for 15 years now, I think. I don't know how old I was 15 years ago. 6.
Okay, so I thought you said when you were 15.
Yeah, I know.
And then you're like, and I've been going for 15 years. I'm like, are you fucking older than me this whole time?
But I've been going to the Renaissance Pleasure Fair. And I call it, it's the Pleasure Fair because that's the proper name of this event specifically, but the Renaissance Fair.
I know, but every time
Yeah.
you hear the Renaissance Pleasure Fair, you're
Yeah,
like,
that just sounds fucking
"Ooh,
weird.
I do want to go to that.
Yeah, but I've been going.
When he invited me the first time, I was like, what?
I've been going with my family for 15 years.
I've been to the Ren Fair.
And it's really fucking fun. And it wasn't until like these past 3 years or so that I started like dressing up as well. And because the Renaissance Fair is, for all intents and purposes, a festival that is held in like a large recreation area. And it's basically like they build a pseudo medieval village, or like, it's called Renaissance Fair, but it's more medieval, which is, to be honest. But
Yes.
most of the staff and event workers or all of them are dressed in like medieval garb, and they play like as like actors, they act the part of like someone from that era. And the most fun that you have with that is kind of joining in on that and playing off of them. Same thing. Like it's just role playing. And that like that's my experience with technically like that would be live action role playing. It's not like a game or an
Absolutely.
event, but it's its own like festivity. And like just being a part of that environment is pretty fun just because like you get out of your ordinary life and you're like whatever the fuck you want to be. And these like live action role playing events are specifically like all in on the immersion of that, because at these like at Ren fairs and whatever, it's like half immersion because like half of the people are dressed up and then the other half are fucking like civilians in regular clothing just enjoying
Those
whatever.
damn civvies.
Yeah, those damn civvies. And you can like
In their skivvies.
you can buy like actual swords and like woodworking. Like people literally like make things for the Ren fair to sell, and it's fucking cool. And the same goes for LARPing events. Like, but you're more immersed in it because everyone is in the game and immersed in it. And I've never experienced that specifically, but I would like to, just like because of what I enjoy about role-playing games in general, and like making a character, playing through that character, and like having a shared experience with everyone else and other people. That sounds like fucking awesome. But I mean, that, to be fair, that combat aspect of it does throw me off as well, because that's fucking, it breaks the immersion because it looks weird. And like, I mean, there are like limitations to that, obviously, and that's why it is the way it is. But and when I think of like LARPing, like you were saying, with someone throwing a beanbag at someone saying like fireball or some shit, I think of like people like running around in a park, like dressed up in like really poorly made outfits with like foam, like yellow and pink swords or some shit, like hitting each other. But in reality, these more blockbuster LARP events are like have really high production value, and like people really make like legit armor and like leather armor, and it's like more high end than that, and it looks pretty fucking cool.
No, I know. I'm just teasing you more than anything. Now, if you want a badass representation of the kind of silly side of LARPing, I recommend you all watch the movie Role Models, starring Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott, which is not a movie that at first blush you would suspect its entire climax involves a giant LARPing battle, but it does.
Yeah.
And it's kind of badass and awesome.
Yeah, that's really funny. But then like that's the thing also, most anything in a role-playing situation is mostly fantasy. And same thing with LARPing, is like a lot of it is like medieval fantasy, but there's also like sci-fi stuff and like macabre horror stuff. And that's
Call of Cthulhu.
yeah, that's like fucking dope.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just taking whatever direction you want. There's also like really interesting systems that are just set up to literally do anything you want with them. They're so open-ended and like generalized that you can play any kind of story you want. You could play a role-playing game where it's just like, me and my 3 friends are trying to, maneuver our way through high school. Why you would want to do that, I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
But you could.
Yeah, like we said, there's like an actual Star Wars or multiple
There were
Star
like
Wars,
3 or 4 actual
multiple Star Wars systems where you can play in the universe of Star Wars, or just pick and choose like mechanics from Star Wars or type thing setting, whatever, and make it whatever you want.
Yeah,
like take out the Force stuff, take out lightsaber stuff, and just make it like fucking sci-fi.
Was it on the podcast last week, or did we just talk about it beforehand?
You talked about it beforehand, not last week, but the week before.
Did we? Oh wait, yeah, because I want to talk about
E3 episodes.
Oh yeah, because I was talking about being a space cowboy.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you still haven't watched Cowboy Bebop.
No, I have actually.
You have?
Yep, I got like I don't know how many episodes. I'm like maybe
so
10
good.
episodes in.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's free on Adult Swim.
Hey, Cheyenne dropped her mic this time.
I'm holding mine up.
Mine is totally fine.
This fucking table, man.
Mine is totally fine. Are you right there, Cheyenne? Cheyenne's had a difficulty with setting up everything and hitting her head on stuff today.
Yeah.
It's not been her day to shine.
Poor Shy.
Poor Cheyenne. Let's just stare awkward. Remember, everybody, stare awkwardly at Cheyenne. no matter where you are. Just stare awkwardly at her. If you have friends, loved ones in the room, your job is to stare awkwardly at them as if they were Cheyenne. If you're alone, find a pet. Maybe a spider crawling around your ceiling.
Or a creepy doll.
Oh, yeah, Annabelle.
Fuck that.
Just
Which reminds me, I watched a video about Annabelle last night, and as I was watching it, my fan started messing up.
IRL Annabelle, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
And my fan started messing up, and then the light in my room is now short-circuited, and I can't use it.
Or did it just go out?
It probably just went out, but like the
Coincidence? I think not
so.
The timing was really weird.
It's like Annabelle can have electronical disturbances. Oh, shit. Now, I actually, yesterday, after I woke up, and before I went back to sleep eventually, so it was like midnight, I've been watching an anime, just like you were. It's When They Cry.
Haven't heard of it.
What a shock. I watch weird shit, man. This is a horror mystery
Another?
anime.
Get it?
A horror mystery anime thing that is weirding the fuck out of me. I am 6 episodes in.
The best horror anime do.
It was, yeah, it's like based off of a visual novel, I believe Higurashi When They Cry or something like that. Fact is, it is a fucking trip, man. I didn't know what I was getting into. I just knew people recommended it, and I was kind of in a mood to watch something that would kind of spook me. And this came highly recommended. Like, this is a very highly rated anime, and it was on Hulu. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Cool.
I was like watching like the first episode. I'm like, this is kind of unsettling. I watched the second episode, and I'm like, oh shit, this is already getting intense. Third episode, I'm like, how are there 26 episodes of this? This shit is building to a ridiculous degree. And then episode 4 ended. I'm like, most of the cast is dead. What the fuck?
What's it called?
When They Cry is its American name. But it is nuts. And the less you know about it going in, the better. Because when episode 5 started, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I'm like,
This
well, I'm
looks
in.
so cheerful.
Right? That's half the fun. Is that like it's basically a dude and a bunch of cute girls. And you're just like,
Ooh,
oh,
harem.
it's not actually at all a harem. It completely avoids that stereotype entirely. But it's literally about a boy who goes, who like moves to this town. He's been here like a month now. He's befriended like these group of girls that he goes to school with. Like the school is so small that there was only one classroom, and all the grades are in that class.
The fuck?
And one teacher has to go from like student to student and group to group
The fuck?
and like individually teach them. You right there?
Yep.
But like he becomes friends with like these 4 girls. And there's like this ceremony at their like in their town. It's like a cotton picking ceremony or something. I can't remember. Yeah, whatever. But every year for the last this is like the 5th year, somebody is murdered and somebody goes missing on the night of that ceremony.
Stop doing the ceremony.
Right? My thoughts exactly. But apparently like the people all talk about it as like some curse from like the local god or something like does this. And he's like, well, that's super fucking weird. And then it happens again this year to people that he had met. And more and more, and he starts like talking with like this local detective, and more it starts coming clear that his friends are keeping something from him and may be very intimately like involved in what is going on.
Oh.
And it gets fucking bonkers.
How did we transition to this?
Somebody mentioned something scary. Oh, Call of Cthulhu, scary stuff. I just wanted to mention this really quick because like this anime is not new. It's like from 2000s.
2005.
There we go, mid 2000s. It's like a 26 episode anime, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm about to get into, but I am down.
It was a game too.
Yes, yeah. It's a series of visual novels. There's like a bunch of these games.
But the light novel was published by Square Enix.
Oh, there you go. See, coming back in with, have you just given up entirely with your microphone?
Yeah, I'm holding it.
Okay. I think all of these technical difficulties are sending a sign that we're not even really talking about role-playing games anymore. This was kind of a rambly fun day where we just didn't give a shit. Like we gave a shit, but we didn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And no.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take it to my grave. Probably get murdered by some young anime girls.
Oh.
It'll be cool.
Every guy's fantasy.
I mean, I've seen people get their head smashed in with baseball bats. I've
Oof.
seen a girl just put a knife up against the side of a wall and just headbutt it until she died. I've seen some good stuff.
That's unsettling.
Oh, it is very gory too. See a girl get her fingers like crushed in a door. She's trying to hold it open. Oh man, it was rough. Guy rip out his own throat with his own like fingernails. Oh man, I'm just like, why am I watching this? And I dig it.
Oh, why do you dig it?
It's good. It's good storytelling. But also, the reason I honestly just felt inspired to do this is because I made some friends of mine who are big chickens. Oh, they're big chickens. I basically got them forcefully to watch Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
Oh, yeah? I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good.
I want to watch it.
You should watch it.
Good luck
It is
with that.
very good. I'm serious. Yeah, you're a baby.
I know, right? He won't watch these things with me.
Just watch it.
Yeah.
I watched it alone in the dark.
You
It was a
also pay
mistake.
for Netflix?
But I want to talk to someone about it.
I'll talk to you about it
Okay.
next week.
I don't know if I have time for that.
It's just 10 episodes.
Oh, okay.
They're all an hour long.
Oh.
And Stranger Things comes out in like a week.
Yeah, no. It's not going to be finished.
But let's try and watch as much of Stranger Things season 3 as possible before we come back here next week. It comes out on Thursday.
Oh,
The 4th of July.
yeah. We'll be on a plane.
Oh, God, that's right. We aren't going to have an episode next week, are we?
We could rush one tonight.
No, I have to go shopping.
Yeah,
I have no
never
water at
mind.
my place.
No.
We can just come back tomorrow and
Stay
record another
tuned.
episode. I'll just do a solo episode. Just lend me all your gear. I'll figure out how to edit. It's like, yo, it's the Kyle. Here's what I'm going to
The
do.
Kyle Show.
I know what I'm going to do. It's going to be awful. I am going to post a series of vlogs on our YouTube channel.
Oh, you're going to vlog?
I like it.
Everyone,
Do it.
Kyle
Let's
here.
see how it does.
And then we'll just take the audio from all of that and edit it into one long podcast that you won't be able to see anything going on. It'll
Oh
just be
my
me rambling about
God.
stupid shit with bad audio on my phone. It's going to be legendary.
Oh, my God.
It's going to be legend. Wait for it. I hope you're not lactose intolerant because the second half of this word is dairy. Legendary.
We said legend. Dairy.
Legendary. All right, cool. Yeah, we'll see what I do with these losers going to Boston.
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 Boston. The Boston Boama.
Bow. Oh, God.
Yeah, pretty sure we're not getting another episode next week. It might be an off week.
Peut-être.
Oh no, our poor viewers. Oh no, my poor friend Sam.
Our poor viewer.
Yep.
Listener.
I love you, Sam. Please keep listening. You're all we got. And us, I guess. That's not true. See, like, I know that we aren't all of the views, but we are definitely a good chunk of them. Well, not Chase, but Cheyenne and I.
I think I listened to what I say.
One essay. What do you call? No, I'm not
What
gonna
are you saying?
say. It's all like you said. Listen to one essay.
Okay.
It just reminded me of a bad joke. What do you call a little Mexican?
What?
A paragraph.
Oh. I've heard that in middle school.
I know, it's dumb.
Why? Because you were the Mexican?
No.
Mexican.
It was a different Mexican, okay?
Oh, okay.
Hey man, are you a Mexican or a Mexican?
I'm an American.
Damn right, aren't we all? All right, thanks everybody for listening. This was a fucking episode, I guess. I'm Kyle.
I'm Chase.
I'm Cheyenne.
Please,
Bye.
Please keep listening. I promise you, this is not our finest
That's not
moment.
what I was gonna say. I was like, please
Please keep listening.
reach out to us on Twitter at ZymMedia if you want to say anything at all.
And don't forget to follow the link below to subscribe to Verve.
Yeah, the link below your phone.
Yep. Get like 1 week free trial.
Oh my God.
If you enter the code, nothing, no code at all. We are that partnered with them that they know anybody coming is from us.
Yep, you'll get the standard rate.
The standard rate. Hey man, there's nothing wrong with the standard rate. Standard rate is great, mate.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Kill me.
Bye.
And I apologize for all the vlogs that will be coming.
Oh,
Goodbye.
God. You heard it here first. Goodbye.